First, let me tell you what accounting software can do for you. Not only is it for tracking your income and your expenses, but you can also reconcile your bank accounts. What we love is that we're able to create our tenants as clients under accounts receivable, and then we invoice them directly from our app. Then in turn, the app tracks all the income received, and if you set your accounts up correctly, we'll book those rental payments into the correct ledger account. You don't have to do journal entries. The system does it for you. If you need to add late fees, you can do that too. If you need to send out a reminder, you can do that too. And all that time adds up to time that can be spent better elsewhere. Welcome to your Landlord Resource Podcast. Many moons ago, when I started as a landlord, I was as green as it gets. I may have had my real estate license, but I lacked confidence and the hands-on experience needed when it came to dealing with tenants, leases, maintenance, and bookkeeping. After many failed attempts, fast forward to today, Kevin and I have doubled our doors and created an organized, professionally operated rental property business. Want to go from overwhelmed to confident? If you're an ambitious landlord or maybe one in the making, join us as we provide strategies and teach actionable steps to help you reach your goals and the lifestyle you desire, all while building a streamlined and profitable rental property business. This is your Landlord Resource Podcast. Hello there, landlords. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Your Landlord Resource Podcast. I'm your host, Stacy, and I'm here with my co-host and husband and business partner, also known as Kevin.
That it?
That's it.
Okay. Hey there, landlords. Happy you're joining us today. So last week, we kind of did a deep dive into bookkeeping and accounting tips, where we discussed a lot of things you needed to know about financials, setting up your books, and different metrics or analysis that you can do to evaluate the financial position of your rental property business. If you have not listened to that yet, go back and give 78 a listen. We will link it in the show notes for you. So one crucial part of obtaining those metrics is by using accounting software. And for some of you, maybe it's not worth it. You can simply set up a spreadsheet on Excel or Google Sheets and track everything that way. You would then have to manually balance your bank accounts to make sure the numbers match with what you have entered on the spreadsheets. And there are apps to do this too. Mostly they are accounting apps, but there is a free one called NCH Express Accounts. I'm not sure what they offer, but they came up during our research.
So one downfall of using a spreadsheet is that you will then have to pay your accountant or CPA to formally create year-end reports to use come tax time. So you can also know where you stand with depreciation and improvements to the properties. But it is possible, just not all neat and clean and tidy with all those fun reports and workflows.
Your eyes are lighting up again.
Shut up. All right, so we've said this before, but we use QuickBooks accounting software. We love it. We highly recommend it, but we do know that it is not for everyone. And we will give you some pros and cons of QuickBooks, as well as another accounting software called REI Hub that is specifically designed for rental property owners. There is another accounting software called Xero, and that's spelled Xero, and one is called Zoho, spelled Zoho. Both are good and get decent marks, but I have very little experience with them, so I want to focus on what I know, and those softwares would be QuickBooks and REI Hub, and we'll get to those in a minute. First, let me tell you what accounting software can do for you. Not only is it for tracking your income and your expenses, but you can also reconcile your bank accounts. What we love is that we're able to create our tenants as clients under accounts receivable, and then we invoice them directly from our app. Then in turn, the app tracks all the income received, and if you set your accounts up correctly, we'll book those rental payments into the correct ledger account. You don't have to do journal entries. The system does it for you. If you need to add late fees, you can do that too. If you need to send out a reminder, you can do that too. So we set up QuickBooks so that on the 15th of the month, Each tenant gets an email with their invoice for the rent due on the first of the next month. If it has not been paid 3 days before the first, a reminder goes out. If it's not paid by the first, a reminder goes out. If it's not paid by the third, a new invoice goes out with the late fee attached, and we'll continue to do this daily until the rent is paid in full.
I mean, it saves us a lot of time not having to manually deal with contacting tenants when their rent is late.
Yeah, totally. And all that time adds up to time that can be spent better elsewhere. It takes a minute to set it all up, but other than us entering manual expenses and reconciling the bank accounts, the system pretty much handles everything. So let me tell you what else I love and what I don't love so much about QuickBooks. And then Kevin's going to do the same for REI Hub. We love that QuickBooks has a mobile app. This makes life on the go as a business owner so much easier. You can scan receipts and upload them to the proper accounts in real time, other than sticking them in a pile and hoping you get to it later. QuickBooks can handle payroll for you, of course, for a fee. But if you're in a position where you can pay for someone to work for you on a permanent basis, like a handyman to do all the maintenance and turnovers, or maybe some admin help in the office, like someone who can manage calls for maintenance and handle all your marketing and your showings, your leases, and then do your bookkeeping, etc., then it is very easy to integrate QuickBooks Payroll into your accounting system. And yeah, you pay a fee for it, but that fee pretty much includes everything involved with payroll, like calculating the state and federal taxes, plus any deductions for anything like healthcare or 401k. They direct deposit the payroll into the employee's account, and then they auto deduct all the payroll funds from your bank account. But when they do this, they also book those taxes, deductions, and paycheck amounts into the correct ledger accounts for you if you set it up that way. Now, you need to be in a very lucrative position to be able to pay someone else, but this person you pay can be your spouse or your adult child. We used it that way when my family owned the business and had many properties that we were managing. And now it's just Kev and I, so payroll isn't needed. But maybe someday we're going to grow to a point where we can hand off some of the responsibilities to employee or one of the boys if they want to. And if you don't have or plan to have payroll services and just pay people on a contract basis, QuickBooks can process your 1099s for service companies, your handyman, your contractors, anybody that earns over $600. You can create budgets and include different ledger accounts and keep it all in real time. Same goes with reports. So, like, we have one report that shows how each property is doing as a whole and tracks the expenses. And this allows us to monitor which units have cost us the most, which units have the most turnover, all the stuff like that. You can set your chart of accounts up so that you can divide your accounting profiles by property and even down to each unit if you set it up right. And as a side note, if you haven't listened to episode 78 that came out just before this one, we did talk about setting up your chart of accounts and what's important to know. And this might be something your accountant or CPA can handle for you as well. And speaking of accountants and CPAs, with QuickBooks, depending on the plan that you choose, your CPA or someone in their office can have direct online access to your QuickBooks account. So what that means is if you have a question on how to do something, or you want them to analyze your reports before a meeting, or the best part is at tax time, they can just go in and download all the information they need to have the meeting or process your tax returns. No more printing a bunch of reports or scanning or emailing PDFs. All you have to do is make sure that your bank accounts are all reconciled and you're pretty much good to go.
I'll tell you right now, that was a huge game changer for us.
Yeah, and we still end up filing for an extension every year on our taxes, but what a difference from many years ago where I had like 40 pages of paper and I'd have to go drop them off, and then they had to weed through those to process our returns. All right, moving on. QuickBooks has the option to track mileage on their mobile app too. So one less thing that you have to have a separate app and track and incorporate, which is nice if you have to travel to your properties like we do. We talked about this last week, and it can be quite a deduction if you track your mileage. You can link your bank accounts direct to QuickBooks and then set it up to automatically book expenses based on the vendors you set up. And of course, like I mentioned before, we can set up each tenant and invoice them and their rental amount each month, which, when it's paid, gets automatically booked to the proper income account that was tagged or linked when we set up that reoccurring invoice. So basically, you can automate quite a bit with QuickBooks and be able to spend your time analyzing the financial performance of your properties. Our experience with customer service at QuickBooks has been pretty good. We have used the chat bot as well, called them on the phone, and we've gotten the information we needed quickly and efficiently. So I have no complaints there. The last thing I want to mention positively about QuickBooks is that there are a few landlord software programs that you can integrate with it. So if you really like using a landlord software and receive rents through there are a few programs that you can migrate your financial information from direct to QuickBooks with just a few clicks, and likely a little work to make sure that all the information gets booked to the proper accounts. All right, now for the downside of QuickBooks. Bottom line, it is not specifically made for real estate investors. This is a program that is used for service-based businesses like plumbers and electricians, and it's really hard to set up if you don't have extensive knowledge of the program and accounting practices. Even with the experience that I have, I had to get help. So, if QuickBooks is a program you want to use, my advice would be to hire someone to work with you and set it up in the most efficient and analytical way possible. Next, because you're invoicing your quote unquote clients, AKA tenants, they do not have an online portal to use. So they cannot track their rental payments or upload their rental insurance information or click a button to send a message for a maintenance request or ask a question or even set up their rent on autopay. Some landlords like having this all in one place, along with the ability to market their vacancies, receive their applications, and process leases and documents with e signing. And to be honest, I imagine the tenants prefer this as well. But I will say, for one of our properties, we do not use a landlord management software, and so far, so good. We just email and text, and we have never had a problem or a complaint yet.
And I think it's because we work really hard at placing good tenants. We don't have a lot of turnover. So many of those benefits you mentioned for a landlord are not something we need on a regular basis. But I can see where a tenant portal would be really nice.
Yeah, it's a good point on our situation. So another downfall is that QuickBooks can be expensive. The monthly fee starts at $35 a month for one user. It goes up to $99 a month with extra benefits and 5 users, and goes as high as $235 a month. And that's for a big, huge company that needs like 25 users, which I don't think that any of our listeners fall in that category. The other expense that we pay, but still makes us cringe, is their ACH fees. And we do know that most landlord management software companies are charging this now, but they charge 1% to direct deposit rent payments made via ACH from our invoices. And you guys, 1% is not much in the scheme of things, but it adds up fast. Now, they do have a max of $15, so any rent over $1,500, the fee is $15. Now, that is per month, per invoice paid. And as all of our rents are over $1,500 on one of our buildings, we are being charged $90 a month just to receive rents. Again, I know that many companies are charging this, and I believe that QuickBooks may even have an option for this fee to be picked up by the person paying it, or in this case, the tenants. But we like to be very transparent. So if we were to have them pay that, we would want to make sure that this is something that's in the lease and that they sign and understand. The only other option to avoid that fee would be to accept checks, and that's okay. It's just not really preferred by us. It's so much easier to just wake up and see a notification that the invoice has been paid and the money is going to be in our account within 48 hours. Where QuickBooks has a lot of pre-formatted reports for you to access, not many of them are geared towards real estate investing. So in order to benefit from the reports like the ones I mentioned earlier, you or your accountant would have to create the form within QuickBooks to be able to use for your analytical purposes. So the bottom line with QuickBooks is that it has a lot of really cool functions that can save you time. And we want to agree that time is money, right? The issue is that QuickBooks is not a real estate specific accounting software and can take some time to learn and navigate to be able to use it to its full potential. But it is a program that was created for everyday people, not just accounting professionals. And that's the point, is that once you get the hang of it, it's a really great program to use. Now, to be transparent, we do partner with QuickBooks and we do have a special offer for 30% off of 6 months of fees. I know online that now they're offering 50% off of 3 months, but our bonus is a better deal because you get an additional 20% off the extra 3 months. We will link them in our show notes so you can learn more about what they offer as well as their different plans. Now, before I hand the mic back over to Kevin, I want to read a comment from a real estate investor and landlord that caught my eye. And this comment was on BiggerPockets Landlord Forum, where someone asked about accounting software to use, and someone discussed the differences between QuickBooks and REI Hub, which is a software Kevin's going to address in a minute. The comment reads, "Never used REI Hub, but have been using QuickBooks Online for several years now. I manage 5 doors and 4 LLCs under one umbrella company. QuickBooks Online offers tagging, which I use to separate each income stream. I tie all my business accounts, so all my transactions are captured. It took forever to get our chart of accounts set up where they function properly for me and my CPA, but we have it working smoothly now. Even on the reporting side, you can default the reports to separate by tag to get easy monthly, quarterly, and yearly KPIs and totals for tax prep. I do not use their ACH functionality. It's way too expensive. I do use their 1099 functions for subcontractors for a minimal one-time fee per contractor each year. I run all ACH through my business banking account and it costs me nothing. The transaction is synced with QuickBooks Online and that's how I capture it. I am only paying $24 a month for QuickBooks Online, and FYI, this is no longer the price. They are always going to try and sell you their extras, but if you can work around them with other resources, it's not so bad at all. I do not use TurboTax for syncing with taxes. I doubt I'll find anything else to pull me away from QuickBooks Online. My CPA can log in whenever, as well to check on things quarterly." So that was the comment. And as you can see, it pretty much reiterates all the pros and cons about QuickBooks that I had already discussed.
And you're right, QuickBooks is a game changer, but only for those who want to take the time to understand it and use it in the capacity it was created for. Now, with all that said, which was a lot, I want to go over some pros and cons of REI Hub. So, a little background information about them first. REI Hub is not solely an accounting software. It is a landlord software that includes comprehensive accounting features that are tailored to the needs of the landlords. It is designed for landlords and real estate investors and offers a wide range of tools for property management. The thing with them is that they were developed by real estate investors who couldn't find a software that did it all, so they just went out and created one. One of its core functions is to help landlords manage the financial aspects of their rental properties. So, who is REI Hub really for? It's for self-managing landlords, especially those managing a few properties and looking for an integrated solution to handle both property management and accounting. Real estate investors who may not self-manage, but who need to track the financial performances of multiple properties, and for small property managers, which would be like Stacy and I, who are individuals or small teams managing a portfolio of properties and want to keep their accounting and property management tasks all in one place. Their target market is all of you, with us included in that mix. A typical user manages between 1 and 50 units, so it's for beginners to small and medium portfolio holders. Okay, some pros about their software. It includes comprehensive tools, meaning REI Hub offers everything from tenant screening to property management. It includes aspects of accounting software that can absolutely give you a detailed view of the financial position of your property. Things like income and expense tracking, And for expenses, you can create separate ledger accounts like repairs, maintenance, and utilities so you can track patterns for all of your expenses. It has tenant rent payment tracking, which allows you to easily see who is paid, who is late, and how much is owed. And like we said, it was specifically designed for rental property owners and real estate investors. So they, of course, have a default chart of accounts that is already set up for the needs of real estate businesses.
Yeah, which is one thing that is a challenge for rental property owners that use QuickBooks. A lot of service based businesses have a preset chart of accounts all set up. So, like it's a plug and play software, but just not for those who own rental properties.
I thought we read that they were working on that, right?
We did, and we haven't seen it as an option yet, but we did hear that they are working on that for rental property owners.
And that would be nice if they could do that. All right, getting back to REI Hub, they do have financial reporting like profit and loss statements, cash flow reports, and other key metrics that are important for understanding the financial health of your rental property business. They automatically report your numbers to you on a property by property or unit basis. And they do have reports that can be sent off to your CPA and assist with tax prep. Now, we do not have firsthand experience with them, but many reviews state that this is easy to use, that the platform is generally user friendly, making it accessible even to those who may not be that tech savvy. Their site includes a lot of educational resources. So they often provide educational content that can be valuable for landlords who are new to property management or looking to refine their skills. They have capabilities for automation. REI Hub helps automate a lot of a landlord's routine tasks, like rent collection and maintenance scheduling, which can save you guys time and reduce the potential for human error. And we mentioned before, it was developed for landlords managing a few rental properties, maybe up to 50 units, so it does have some scalability. We will say it seems its concentration is directed towards those who are managing 1 to 20 units. Their pricing is affordable and based on the number of active units you are managing through them. All plans get full access to features, which is actually a huge perk for us. So for $15 a month, it covers 3 units. $25 a month will get you up to 10 units, $45 a month up to 20 units, and $80 a month for unlimited units. And finally, their customer support is always free. So now the cons of using REI Hub. The one thing we disliked is that they do not have a mobile app. This means that receipt logging and mileage tracking are not something that is easily to perform. Apparently, there is a workaround by signing into your account from your mobile phone, but the layout, it can be kind of wonky. The program is not well known by accounting professionals and CPAs, so if you are trying to get help with your books or creating a report or processing tax returns, you might struggle with your team being able to assist you. Your accounting team and CPAs do not have access on the site like they do with QuickBooks. You would have to give them your login info, which we really don't recommend at all. Now, since REI Hub is landlord management software and an accounting software, it is hard to know which feature is better. REI Hub can integrate with some landlord property management software, but not any accounting software like QuickBooks. So if you're looking for an accounting software to pick up the slack on the accounting side so you can get the benefits you feel you are missing with REI Hub, you would have to manually enter your financial information into the accounting software you choose. And along those same lines, it has limited customization. So if you want to target a specific workflow, you will have to extract the information needed and create your own report, like on Excel or Google Sheets. Some say there is a learning curve to using the software, and our guess here is that it might not be easy to use for those who are not familiar with computer programs and databases. Others have said the customer service is a bit lacking. They are slow and not as helpful as they should be.
Okay. So, those are the two most highly rated accounting software programs for landlords and rental property owners. It's important to choose something that you feel comfortable with because if it's hard to learn and you don't use it, having any software isn't going to help. So, I guess whether you choose accounting software depends on a few things like your comfort level with actually using it. Whether you have a CPA who uses QuickBooks and can help walk you through it and actually go onto your account to make changes or use the information for your taxes, how much are you willing to spend on each program each month? And honestly, what financial metrics do you have an interest in knowing about your rental properties? If you're someone who's going to set time aside every week or month to make sure that your financial records are up to date, then maybe investing your time and money into accounting software is worth it. But let me say this, most landlord management software, you can access records for income, expenses, maintenance, insurance. It's all in one place. You also get a statement at the end of the financial year to help during tax season. Plus, there's the added bonus of your tenants having that portal to use. And there's several property management software apps that can integrate your financial information into QuickBooks. We mentioned that before. Those would be RentReady, DoorLoop, and Inago, which are ones that we would recommend. We will link them in the show notes for you to learn more about them. There's also Stratfolio, Tenant Cloud, and Simplify EM, who also are known to be able to integrate with QuickBooks. Now, RentReady can integrate with QuickBooks to export tenant payments. It also allows users to link their payment accounts to QuickBooks so that deposited funds automatically appear in your QuickBook Ledger accounts. RentReady, as well as TurboTenant, both can integrate with REI Hub. So if you already do or were considering using their landlord management software, you can get the benefit of using the accounting capabilities from REI Hub. Now, let me talk a moment about RentReady. And if you ask RentReady which accounting program they prefer you integrate with, they're going to tell you REI Hub. One thing that we really like is that they have a mobile app where landlords can deal with tenant screening and accept payments on the go. You can allow partial or block payments, which is nice for prorated rents when people move in or out mid-month. You can link multiple bank accounts at no additional charge. You can do secure tenant screening through TransUnion, which includes full credit, criminal, and eviction reports. They have a simple built-in pre-screening questionnaire, and tenants submit applications through a tenant app. Approved pre-screened tenants then can instantly submit an application. Your listings get posted to Realtor.com and Zillow. They have free marketing and a listing page from RentReady. You can send in-app communication to your tenants, and you can add your entire team to your RentReady account with full permission at no additional cost. You can send automated receipts and rent reminders to your tenants. They have something like a 5-second video with tenant submitted maintenance requests. Basically, I think it's just you guys saying an automated video saying that you got the request. They have live customer support, lease signing and storage. You can upload and share documents via cloud sharing files, add on premium maintenance. You can add on rental property accounting software, which would be the REI Hub. And for the tenant side of things, they offer that you can pay rent via the app with ACH or credit card, and your tenants can schedule their payments on autopay. You can add on rent reporting to boost credit scores for your tenants through TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. You can set up customized rent reminders. They can submit maintenance requests, and they have access to affordable renters insurance. Now, there is a monthly fee for all of that, and it ranges from around $30 if you opt to pay monthly or $12 a month if you want to pay it annually.
That's really not a bad deal for all those benefits.
No, not at all. I mean, it's pretty comprehensive. Now, they do charge if you want to add on premium maintenance through Latchel, and tenants have to pay extra for the benefit of rent reporting for their credit and for payments that are made on a credit card. Plus, they charge a whopping $1 fee, not 15 like we're paying for ACH transactions.
Well, right there, that saves us $90 a month or over $1,000 a year.
Right? I mean, these are the things that landlords need to consider when they want to use software programs. There are some downsides, but there are many cost-saving benefits. Now, the whole point to this section of the podcast is to talk about accounting software and how it relates to the landlord management software that's out there. If you want to add REI Hub to your Rent Ready account, there is an additional cost. REI Hub plans are based on the number of units you have and are billed monthly, and I believe Kevin already spoke about that earlier. So if you own multifamily properties, that amount can add up quickly. And quick side note, if you're a Bigger Pockets Pro member, you get to use Rent Ready free of charge. So we will go ahead and link REI Hub, Rent Ready, and Bigger Pockets in our show notes so that you can easily check them out and see if one of them is going to work for you. Now, Turbo Tenant, which you know we love for smaller and newer landlords, mostly because it's free to use, also integrates with REI Hub. And we have been partners with Turbo Tenant for quite a while now. Again, we love them for newer rental property owners because many of their services are free. These would be expenses that a lot of landlords do not include in their budget, like some of the costs associated with finding a new tenant. Advertising your rental property is completely free and goes out to dozens of rental sites like rent.com, apartments.com, Redfin, Craigslist, Zillow, many more. So you get the convenience of creating one ad, and Turbo Tenant gets it out to all those sites for free. They handle tenant applications and tenant screening, also at no cost to the landlord. They have an option where you can have the tenant pay for all those services, so you never have to handle reporting or recording the receipt for any of those fees. Collecting rent is always free for landlords. Tenants only have to pay if they choose to use a credit card for payment. Otherwise, ACH, which is our recommended method, is free. And you can upgrade to a premium account, and they will provide unlimited personalized leases for less than $10 a month. Now, I think it's like $8.25. And this is huge for DIY rental property owners. Regardless of the state where your property is located, you are covered by state-specific leases and addendums. Rather than use them on an as-needed basis, customized leases are $29. And we love how you can manage your rentals and organize your documents all in one place. And that efficiency is key, and you'll be able to streamline your rental property business with features such as in-app messaging with tenants. You can handle maintenance requests, plus upload and store their rental insurance information. And all that's available with the premium upgrade noted above, which is about $8.25 a month. If you're looking for a straightforward, easy to navigate, and low-cost option to help you manage your rental properties, Turbo Tenant is our recommendation. Now, if you want to integrate REI Hub accounting with your Turbo Tenant account, it is a paid add-on that is charged per unit up to 15 units. The price is $15 a month for the first property and then $5 per month for each additional property, with a maximum of $85 a month for 15 properties or more. Notice how I said property and not unit. This is a huge plus for multifamily property owners. So we will link Turbo Tenant in the show notes if you want to learn more about the software and how it integrates with REI Hub. Other landlord management software like AppFolio and Yardy Breeze provide spreadsheets and ways to upload your expenses so they're all in one spot. But this is not bookkeeping or accounting software, which your tax person will need to properly and efficiently do your taxes every year. And a last little side note, Avail and Stessa both have their own accounting software that comes as an add-on to their rental property management software. We do have a $50 off link for Avail that we'll put in the show notes in case any of you guys were leaning towards that software. So I think we covered a bulk of the landlord management software and their capabilities with accounting software, either QuickBooks or REI Hub.
Yeah, and there are a lot of great options out there if you're looking to automate your management and bookkeeping duties for your rental property business. Where we do love QuickBooks, and especially how our CPA can log right on and check out our books before our meeting, or to download all he needs to process our taxes. But Stacy is right. There are some difficulties about it that many small landlords just can't work past. And we get it, but we're here to give you information so that you can make decisions and choices that suit you where you are now in your investment journey. We're not here to make you feel like you're not enough because you prefer to use Excel and send simple pages over to your CPA. That is exactly how we started out. All we want to do is show you what is possible and what to consider at some point in time when you begin to grow and scale your portfolio.
Exactly. And that goes for all our episodes, you guys. We don't all have to be the same, and this is what makes the world go round. But we all should strive to work towards being organized, kind, and professional when operating rental properties. And that is what we're trying to contribute to this world, through this podcast and our blogs and our website and everything. All right, you guys, that is our show for today. We have the utmost appreciation and gratitude for you taking time out of your day to listen to what we have to say over here. If you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast or give us a follow so you don't miss out on any episodes. And if you really, really like what we have to say, would you do us a favor and leave us a kind review and tell other landlords you know about us? We would be very grateful if you would do that. We'd love to stay in contact with you. In the show notes, you can find links to all the free downloads that we offer, ways to sign up for our free weekly newsletter, and the waitlist for our upcoming course on placing your ideal tenant, of which a significant portion of the course is on tenant screening. There's also links to our social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, where we share very informative and detailed tips and tricks for landlords, so check those out. I think that's about it. Thanks again, and until next time, you've got this, landlords.